Hi there and welcome to Saving Ophelia. My name is Thijs and I'm the one trying to save Ophelia, my 70-year-old German-built steel boat that's in a horrible shape. Well, she looks worse than she really is. Well, as you can see, we're in my workshop once more, and it's not because I'm going to get a whole lot of boat-related work done here. I have done a lot of work, but it's only tangentially boat-related, like fixing my brand new bandsaw that had an issue where it kept throwing the drive belt. That was fun. And well, you're then using said bandsaw to make parts for a brand new garage roof, so I have a place to put all the stuff that I removed from the boat because, well, there ain't any room in here anymore. There is some boat related stuff though. The local mechanic came through and I have a new generator / alternator for the boat, and he was quite sure that it would be a match. So I thought we'd take a look at this and compare it to the old one before we then mount it on the boat and, well, see if the panel I built the last couple of episodes, if that really works. Anyways, let's get going. So as you know by now, this is the old alternator, and when I do some measurements here on the back, I find out that I probably have a short where, well, both poles will go straight into the chassis, what do you call it? Well, the metal part out here, and that's no good because that means, well, the generator actually still works when it's being forced around. It generates current, but it wastes a lot of that, and it does drain the battery when it's not running. So when the engine's not running, the battery will drain quite quickly. So that's no good. So let's have a look at the new one. I've only seen it briefly when the mechanic had it open. He was quite, well, he made sure that I got what I asked for and opened this and checked with this one. I had to bring that in when he had gotten this one delivered, and he was very confident that it would work in the boat. So let's see. As you can see, this one is brand spanking new, nothing remanufactured here, everything is new. It's not a brand that I know. HC Cargo, I have no idea what it is, but apparently they know what they're doing. So, well, at least the mechanic thought so. I think the interesting part, if you look at this, it's quite similar really. But if you look at the interesting part, that would be on the back. Well, first of all, it seems to be a mechanical fit. This part will fit, I hope so. Oh, this one is quite a bit further out than this one. So we might have an issue there getting this to fit. And, well, but the distance from here to the drive belt should be the same. Yeah, that's probably going to be an issue, but we'll have to see. Then if we look at the electrical connections on the back, well, this one has a plug rather than just a fastening with a bolt, and there's none of that over here. So I'll probably need to crimp some eyes onto the wires in the boat to make this work, but that shouldn't be too much of an issue, and I could probably move this one if I need to. But I guess we'll see. And then there seems to be an issue here with these, because that hole does seem to be a bit bigger than this one. Let's have a look and see how much of an issue it really is. .25 millimeters. 10.03, so we have discrepancy of, well, 1.75 millimeters and then a bit. And, well, that's also the issue. This hole isn't exactly round anymore. It's a bit oval, and, well, it's still quite a bit bigger than this one. So it's not just wear, because I think the 10 millimeters is the original hole and this one is less than that, but I guess we'll have to see. Wonder if this one has been, had this part cut off. doesn't quite look that way. Doesn't bear any marks of having been cut really. Oh, it might just, because there seems to be a bit of a lip back here, and this isn't exactly even. That might be the result of a hacksaw, and then this probably was drilled out if that's the case, because otherwise they seem mechanically quite the same. Let's have a look at the distance between the holes, because that does matter a bit as well. There is some bit of, well, you can adjust this on the boat, but not by a whole lot. I'm not entirely sure if I can reach it. Oh, I can do it this way around. Hole to hole, 135 millimeters, and this goes 144. So we do have some differences, even though they look the same. I think the big problem here, though, is going to be, whoa, that mounting part, because that is most definitely not the same. But I guess we'll see when I bring it to the boat. So I just noticed the fine print on this, because, well, it does say cargo and it's built for Holger Christiansen AS. That would be a Danish company. But I also noticed that it's a Bosch group company. So I actually ended up getting a Bosch generator, just like the first one, except that this one actually does have a chance to fit the engine. Well, if I fix this minor issue here, because I think that is going to be a problem. So I thought that maybe it would be a good idea to, well, first of all, figure out whether or not that generator will actually fit here, because, yeah, it needs to fit physically here. And I also need to be sure that, well, what these wires, what they are, because I think I remember, but I might remember wrong, so I'll have to check that with the old generator before I start doing anything with the new one. So when I compare this old generator with the wires that's going here, I'm fairly certain that this one, the black one, is the B+. And, well, these two have got connectors, so that will have to be the W or the L on the diagram, and the other one will be the D-, and, well, no, sorry, D+. And I'm fairly sure that the red one will be D+, and the yellow one will then be the signal wire, the W or the L. So I should have that figured out now. Oh, I also have a green one. That one wasn't connected to the engine, so I'll have to have a look at the diagram to figure out what that might be. But these three were connected to this generator, so I think that should map onto the new generator. And then we get to the physical aspect of mounting the new generator, because, well, I did show you this bit earlier. I think, though, that it might still be able to fit. Place this here, and then the drive belt. Well, it doesn't fit with this one. See, there are two wheels here, an inner and outer one, and they have the exact same diameter down here. But up here they are slightly different, which would mean that if I move it, the drive thing here outwards, the drive belt nut thing, then it would run, the pump would probably be running a bit faster than it would otherwise, but everything else would be the same. So wonder if this will match up. Let's see. Oh, this is stuck here. Need to get that in here, and then we go. Well, it might actually not need any modification whatsoever, but let's see if I move to this here. This actually seems to work out just fine. A bit of a distance thing going on down here. I'm lacking a bit, but this should be workable. It seems to be running fairly true. So if I move that, I would get the pump running a bit faster than otherwise, but that should be about it. Then we need to do something with this device down here that sets the distance, but should be manageable. I guess that's good news. Good thing. I don't think I'll need to modify this one after all. Just check with putting the old one in place though, but I am missing the mounting bolt. Lost it somewhere at home in the workshop. Yeah, that's definitely for the inner wheel here, when that's mounted here, but I don't have to use that one. I can use the outer one, or at least I think I can. Can't see where the problem should be with doing that though. But as I said, I lost the mounting bolt, which doesn't really matter too much because the mounting hole on this one is 8 and a bit millimeters, while this one is 10. So the old mounting bolt would be 10 millimeters, which is, well, I don't want to drill this out if I can avoid it. So I'll go with an 8 millimeter bolt, I think, and then see how things work out. So I'll need to buy one, but I need to know how long it's supposed to be. And unless I'm completely off my rockers, then the length should be this distance plus this distance back here, and that's what I need to buy. Yeah, I just realized that I'd better check the size of this mounting hole as well, because, well, it should be a 10 millimeters bolt. It might not actually be. No, it wasn't. 9.7 in one direction at least. 9.8 in another direction. So if I bought a 10 millimeter bolt, I would have been in trouble. This one fits an 8 millimeter bolt, then it won't be too far off from this, which is a good thing. So makes things a bit easier. Yeah, so obviously the mounting bolt for this is gone. It's probably somewhere in my workshop, but I can't find it. And it's fairly long, and in this case it needs to be even longer, like 11 centimeters, and I couldn't find that. So I had one made, a piece of threaded bar with a lock nut in one end, and then, well, an ordinary nut and a few washers at the other, and that should work out. Well, I hope it does, but guess we'll see. I just need to, yeah, there we go. That's that. And here comes the generator. That fits just fine there. And a washer. And another nut. Oh, this is plenty long, but he did say that he made it, well, the guy at the workshop that made it, he said that he made it 14 centimeters, so I would have plenty of space, even if things went sideways. And oh, he wasn't lying, that's for sure. Now, so that's on here. It can move a bit, but mainly like this, which is okay. It needs to be able to do that. And then I should probably get the well, this thing on there. There we go. And yeah, there we go. Something like that. And this is quite close here, but I guess we'll see how that works out. For now, I think I'll just have to tighten this up, and well, let's see how it works. Yeah, I just had a brilliant idea. Maybe I should put it in the other way so we don't have this huge piece hanging out here, because it will be a bit of a problem depending on, yeah, it will be. Got to put this somewhere. I do have a tendency to drop things that I really shouldn't drop. That made the entire mounting process quite a bit easier. So this works. I'll put that down here. Tighten this one in, then yeah, that should be good. Now I need some way to adjust this distance here, because well, it does need to keep the belt a bit tight. And for that, I saw a fancy doohickey on the interwebs. Well, fancy and fancy. One of these with one of these eyes at both ends, and that should be able to fit right in here. But I'll need to replace this hook with one of these eyes, so I'll just do that. I hope this thing works. It does need to have a bit of a, well, I think it will. Now to get this one out before I can see if it actually works. There we go. Then I really hope that this bolt will fit straight through here, and it does. Indeed it does. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure that this is correct. Might have a bit too much distance here, and it's not adjustable as it is because, well, it locks on here, which kind of ruins the idea. But I guess if I tighten this one in, I'll have some tension on the belt anyway. which is what I wanted. So let's see. Well, there's a bit of tension on the belt at least, and it's nowhere near anything that could cause issues. So that's actually mounted. Now I need to, well, connect the wires in the back. There's just absolutely no way I can move the camera in a position where you can see that. Not that's going to be terribly exciting anyway. So I'll be back in a sec, hopefully with the wires mounted on the, well, connected to the generator correctly. So I finally got the wires locked in place. I just hope that it's the right terminals I've connected them to, but I think so. Should be W at the top, the signal one, the B plus, the big fat one down there, and then the orange one should be the D plus. Well, I can't remember the signs, plus or minus, whatever, but there's only those three, W, D, and B. And I think the B is the big fat one that goes to the battery when we're charging. So hopefully everything works out. And as you can see here, the belt does seem to be aligned quite well with the pulley down there. So everything should be set up here to work just fine. Or so I hope, but I guess we'll see about that soon. So with a new generator slash alternator mounted on the engine, the next step is going to be to hook up the control panel I've been building here these last couple of weeks, and then fire up the engine and see if everything works as intended, and then probably move on to troubleshooting because, well, that's how things usually go. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please leave a like. It does help the channel quite a bit, and also if you haven't already done so, please click the subscribe button. Now, if you feel like supporting this project beyond watching these videos as you've already been doing, you can do so by leaving a super thanks in the chat below. You can join the channel as a member, and you can join my Patreon. There should be a link somewhere on screen right now. Either way, I hope I'll see you again next week, and have a good one until then.